if you've seen some of Sandy Munro's videos, there's quite a few of them, you can see he's basically saying in this video, this is the second best Tesla electric car he's ever tested. It's better than a Tesla Model S. He just thinks the Cybertruck in some ways is even better than the Model 3 Highland. However, my takeaway here, guys, is that his impression of the Model 3 Highland would suggest that it's better than he expected it to be.
Everything's getting cleaner and easier and more, I don't know, ergonomic and more artistic. Yeah.
I just watched a few videos, reviews of the new Tesla Model 3 Highland. I mean, it's been out for a long time now, but it was very interesting. Doug DeMuro's review, it was the most boring 30 minutes of my life, and it was riddled with errors. I watched a few other reviews, one from Australia, one from the UK. They were pretty good for the most part. A lot better than Doug's review. But the one I found the most interesting, without a doubt, was the review from Sandy Munro. And the reason is, he doesn't do what everyone else does. Everyone else just blabs on about features. My goodness, how many times do you think we need to hear this stuff? I mean, this is my opinion, guys. Let's say you want to buy a car, right? You bring up all the reviews for that car. So you might watch 15 different videos for the same car. Why do these reviewers think that we want to hear the same stuff? I mean, they're all telling us for the first 10 minutes, feature, feature, feature. You already know all this stuff, right? Surely the first video you watch tells you the features. You go, okay, I know the features now. Or you just go on the website, you read the features, you go, okay, these are the features. But you have to watch the features every single time. Now, this is what I like about Sandy Munro. He doesn't do that. Gives you a few of the features, but the most interesting part of the video, for me, the most interesting stuff is when he mentions the stuff that no one else mentions. That's what I really enjoy. I really want to hear something that no one else is talking about. So yeah, I do a lot of videos that are similar to other people, but I try and come from a different angle to give you guys something different, something that's a little bit more interesting. Like, how does an automaker, are they going to survive? You know, what is the perspective on that vehicle? What's a critical perspective? What's a different look at that? So that's what I like about what Sandy is doing. Now, he's about to actually tear down the Cybertruck, so I'm very keen to see his teardown. Tesla Model 3 Highland, they did not a teardown, but they did mention some features that no one else has pointed out. Now, they did say things that you already know. It's much quieter. The laminated glass is really good, but the laminated glass, he mentions one thing that no one else mentions. The laminated glass isn't just laminated for the actual window that you see. It's laminated for the window that you don't see. So the part of the glass that goes into the door, you're never going to see that part, right? It's actually sitting underneath the door. Tesla laminate that part of the glass as well. That's what helps even more so with the noise. Now, the car has much better NVH, of course, better airflow over the car. They talk about the aerodynamics and how the airflow works and why the airflow is so much better, because the air actually flows over the windscreen wipers. There's some other things they talk about as well in the aerodynamics area. Now, I'm fascinated by aerodynamics. I actually love that stuff. I mean, I'm an aerodynamics geek, maybe because I've been doing triathlons and time trials. Anyhow, less turbulence is created because of some of the little features and things that Tesla changed to improve that area. Now, they say it has better suspension than an equivalent BMW. 3 Series or a 5 Series, they thought the suspension was better. The car is more nimble. It feels more like a sports car, they said. They said that even though the car's performance is technically the same, it feels faster, it feels more nimble, it feels more like a performance car in comparison to the old Model 3. Now, one of the things they said, the heated seats can be configured from the back seat. They're also ventilated. The front seats are ventilated. The rear seats are perforated. And the previous model, right, it does have heated seats in the rear, but you can't actually turn them on or off from the rear, which is pretty common, I think. But now Tesla have changed that. So now that screen in the back, you can do a lot of things. You can make a lot of changes using that screen in the back, which is a good thing. Okay, here's one thing that I hadn't seen before. The lift gate has been changed, the harness in the lift gate. So Tesla have spent more money on things like changing the harness in the lift gate to actually make it open and close better. Now, the biggest change, he said, in his opinion, in the interior is the rear touchscreen, which has some big improvements. Now, Tesla also mentioned something else. They say they think the car's got a bit more character now. It's not so kind of egg-shaped because of the added creases. That's one of the things that's changed the look. I actually really like the look of the new Tesla Model 3 Highland. I didn't really like the look of the previous version, to be honest. I've said that a few times. I think that's a big improvement. So here's one thing Sandy wants Tesla to change. He thinks Tesla should use the Cybertruck handle. So the way you open the Cybertruck doesn't really have a handle. You just sort of open it. It latch. When you go close, the door sort of pops out. He thinks that Tesla should get rid of those current handles and actually make that change. So you can actually not have the slightly finicky handles, door handles. Anyhow, he notices there's been some changes, some significant changes made to the front. One of those is the where the plastic is that actually hits the bonnet. That's been moved. It's been changed in order to improve the noise levels that are coming from the front. Now, one thing as well is the water bottle position has been moved from the back of the front, which is a bit harder to get to. You got to reach over. It's been moved to the front of the front, so that's a really cool change. I think that was a good idea as well. He also notices that there's an additional mold in the doors that improves side-on impact. It's like a piece of steel. It looks like a piece of forged steel that's actually in the bottom of the door, the front doors, and that steel locks in to the actual chassis of the car when you close the door. This is something no one else has mentioned that I know of anyway. And this gives the Tesla Model 3 much better side-on impact crash protection. So it's one interesting thing that these guys point out that I had never noticed. Okay, Tesla, they say, has spent a lot of money on small details. And the controls mirror the Cybertruck. They think that's a good thing. It takes a little while to get your head around the fact that, there's changes to having the steering wheel buttons on the steering wheel. But once you get used to them and once you learn the new features, the way that Tesla's done everything actually does make a lot of sense. They say that as a result, there's a lot of ergonomic improvements. Some of those include the rear screen, the lighting. The lighting strip in the car is nice. The cup holders have been changed a little bit. The fog lamps, they say, have been removed to cut costs. They say that Tesla's likely to have tested if owners were using them. Owners probably weren't using them, so they removed them to cut costs. Sandy thinks getting rid of stalks was a good thing. And the other thing he mentions is that his wife loved the car. He said she doesn't normally love cars, but for some reason she brought this car home and she was like, I love this car. So this is the opposite to what Doug DeMuro said. Doug DeMuro said it's just complete an appliance. You can't love this car. It has no personality. It's basically like a washing machine or a fridge or a microwave. And it's just no emotion. There's no emotional connection. But anyway, Sandy Munro said his wife definitely has an emotional connection to the Model 3 Highland. So that's nice to see. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. As always, you guys know I'm a fan of Sandy Munro. Just because he's adding something different. There's like 50 or 100 reviews of the Model 3. They're all pretty much saying very, very similar things. Obviously, Sandy Munro's come at it from a different perspective. Try to give us some few things that we never would have seen before. So I'll put a link to his video in the description if you want to see the full video. Thank you for watching.